FFCCCI is really one of the biggest business federation in the Philippines now. We have more than 170 organizations under our umbrella. And it really was, a big influence in even on the part of our legislators, executive office, that whenever there's some laws, whatever, I think the federations have always been consulted. And of course, another thing is that we also play a very important role during disasters. We already donated more than 5,600 school buildings. Every day there are more than 700,000 students studying inside the classrooms built by the Federation. We've even graduated a lot. I think there was one Army Chief of Staff, our Chief of Staff, that he said that during his younger days, he was so happy that he, instead of studying under the mango tree, whatever, they really have a good classrooms that they can study on. Can you imagine there are certain, still up to now, there are certain areas in which inside one classroom there are more than 60 people. 30 people was able to sit down, the rest of 30 other students has to stand up now so that they could be accommodated. And this is one thing that we think we should really continue. When I joined FFCC, more than 24 years ago. During that time, I was in my early 40s. Actually, I was recruited by one of the old guards of the Federation. And since at that time, they need fresh blood and young blood to join them. And of course, being a graduate of the University of the Philippines, and also being going to Harvard and all these things, I think I can really give a strong support for whatever is the Federation's welfare regarding Chinese Filipino relations. So at that time I decided, okay, just give my support, and not knowing that once you enter the Federation, it's really very difficult to get out already from the Federation. So when you step in Federation, the rest, it's a long, growing 24 years. This is my 25th year. Actually, it's very difficult to enter the Federation. Unlike other organizations, you just apply for membership now and you are qualified to become a member. The Federation is different. We have 170 business associations and also chapters all over the countries. So in order for you to enter the federations, you should be a representative of any one of the organizations. And every 2 years, we have a convention. You have to be a representative of that convention. And each organization has a maximum of only around 14 representatives. A minimum of 2, a maximum of 14. So every year, there are around 800 delegates joining the convention. And out of these 800, we elect around, including the provinces, around 300 plus. And out of these 300 plus, we elect, 47 board members. And out of these 47 board members, we elect the president and vice president. So you have to go from one round to another. You have to hurdle the first round in order to be, a plan director, and then another round in order for you to be a board member, and then another round for you to become the president and the vice president. So it's a very hectic, but at least whether how hectic it is, but at least this is a good exercise, for you, in order for you to become the president. You have to really get the support of everybody. I'm quite fortunate. 24 years ago, when I was recruited into the Federation, I was given already a post of vice chairman for welfare committee. And then, welfare committee, we turn over around 450 school buildings every year. So we have to go around the countries, from Batanes to Tawi-Tawi. You have to ride boats, you have to ride bangka in order for you to turn over building. And of course, you have to be well-versed, in Filipino, in Tagalog, in English, and all these things. And but we are no, but I'm happy. I'm enjoying it because every time you go to these places, no, far-flung areas, you can see those are school children waving their flags. They can see the happy faces, and as you turn over to them, they will give you some souvenirs, gifts, and all this. And I think I enjoy that. But of course, I also join a lot of other committees now. The one committee that I joined or become the head of that committee for many years was the External Affairs Committee. External Affairs Committee deals with, of course, peace and order. At that time, it deals with labor, it deals with taxes and all these things. It's a very hectic committee, and I was happy that I'm a chairman of the committee for many, many years. And you know that during that time, peace and order is not really that good. A lot of kidnappings and all this. So, you have to keep awake if there's any. No, at that time, even I have to admit, at that time, even members of the federation, some of the members, the children were being kidnapped also during that time. No? So I'm happy that, with our relationship with PAOK TF, with PACERS, whatever, but then, of course, it's anti-kidnapping group, we're able to really assist those victims for them to really weather all these things. So, alam mo, 24 years, this almost a quarter of a century, So I spent the best time of my life, serving the association, serving the federation, and I'm happy that at long last, I was given the opportunity to lead the federation. A leader, either you were born a leader or either you train yourself to become a leader. I guess, I'm not a born leader, but as my business progress, we used to have around 20 plus employees, and then it mushroomed to around 400 plus. Right now we have more than 12,000 people in our organizations. And as you lead your company, the same way that you also lead an organization. And I think I can lead the organizations of the Federation Filipino Chinese Chamber of Commerce. And hopefully, under my term, we will reach greater heights. Luckily, maybe people thought that I've been in the federation longer than the other party. That maybe they think that I am more qualified or whatever. But I'm happy that at least I won the election fairly, squarely, and I'm happy. And at this point in time, I think it's healing time already. We want to heal the federations. We want to make sure that everybody will be working harmoniously towards the unification of the federation and towards trying to develop a good, friendly atmosphere for Filipino-Chinese here, and also with the Chinese, also with China. We are with a bridge, tayong mga tulay between China and the Philippines. And this is precisely what I have in my dream, and I'll be presenting my not necessarily the cabinet now, but the federation functions just like a small government. We have many committees, and each head of the committee is just like cabinet secretary. And of course, I will also be putting up what I'm going to do for the next 2 years. It's a very short 2 years actually, but hopefully I can finish what I'm planning to do, and I can leave a good legacy, for others to follow. FFCCC, no doubt, it's one of the biggest business organizations in the country. And, the success does not come easy. Over the last more than 60 years, there have been a lot of good leaders, and it has always been looked upon as an association, a federation that can really protect the small businessman. And just to let you know that, in the 70s, or even as early as in the 50s, 60s, my father ran a small business, a small bookstore in Chinatown. And then at that time, federation, or somebody from the federation is just like the president of the Chinese community already. My father cannot even fathom how anybody could reach into that position. And of course, you know, today I'm sitting here inside the office of the president of the Federation, FFCCCII. I'm happy that I'm here, and I think if my father, wherever he is right now, I think I'm going to make him happy. You know, there are three treasures now, of course, the Federation. The Body School Project, the relief operations, and also the volunteer fire brigade. But I think we should outgrow ourselves on these three treasures already. Maybe you can create two more treasures now to make it to make the scope wider. I hope that during my term we can make the scope wider, and that we could give more, recognitions for the Federation. At least right now, I think, can you imagine when I won the presidency of the Federation, I received a lot of congratulatory messages, not only here in the Philippines. I mean, there are congressmen, senators, cabinet members. I was so surprised. I thought, I said, this is just the president of the Federation. I'm not running for senators or whatever, and I live it. You know, I get 800 messages, and not only here. I received congratulatory messages even as far as Beijing, Changchun, many parts in China. In fact, there are already, as I was interviewed right now, there are already 2 Chinese TV stations that have interviewed me already yesterday. There are 2 more to follow. I mean, you know, so I realized that, of course, being a presidency of the Federation, it's not really easy. Aside from working, I mean, you should also know how to face the camera. You should also be eloquent on what you are saying, and then what you are saying, will be recorded, will be published. So you have to have a depth of what you are saying already. You should remember, running the Federation is not like running my own company. Running my own company, I can lose my temper, But running the Federation, I can never lose my temper. You have to get, of course, the sympathy. You have to get also the support. And you know that you are dealing with maybe people that are equally rich or even richer than you here. So you cannot just boss them around. It's just that how you could influence them and try to gel them together to become a moving force that will really lead the Federation to greater heights. And it's a tough job, but I think I can do it.